City Life. Today on the programme, Tim Hunter from Christchurch and Canterbury Tourism. We talk furious filmmaking with Andrew Todd and style with Stephanie Rumble from Flair Image. But first on the programme, Reid from the EQC. Good to have you here.
Hi, Kanita, how are you?
Good, thank you. Now, how are things going this week?
Yeah, well, we're making good progress. All the iPads are now rolled out, so all our team's working electronically, so hopefully we're going to see a real pick-up in pace.
Okay. Now, I have to ask, you have been quoted as saying it may take some years to clear all the claims to the EQC. Is this correct?
Yeah, look, I have to say, really disappointed by that. Quite upset, actually, because, we've publicly said, and I know the article does say it, but we're committed to being finished our inspection process by Christmas. That means having seen every house in Canterbury by then. We've undertaken to complete the contents in the same time frame. So really want people to understand that we're committed to getting these inspections done by Christmas. Now, obviously, we understand that the repair process might take a little bit longer, but in terms of inspection and people having their homes visited, by Christmas, absolutely.
So was it taken out of context?
Yeah, look, I think so. As I said, I'm quite upset about it because our message has always been one that we're really positive about the timeframes, and we're committed to them. And we've got lots of people working really hard to meet those timeframes. So, okay. Yes.
Is there anything that can be done to speed this process up? For example, hiring more people?
Yeah, look, we've looked at that, and we're looking at it again now. We're constrained a little bit on that front by availability of beds, quality of people, vehicles, phones, iPads. iPads are almost run out in New Zealand by the sound of things. So, yeah, but we are working and looking at that at the moment. Okay.
Now, we do have some viewer questions, some City Life viewer questions for you. Your staff have been telling claimants that they are not entitled to their scope of works, is the recommendation of the FA team about what work needs to be done to your home. Can you confirm that, what EQC's position on a claimant's legal rights to this information?
Look, always been clear on this. People are entitled to anything that's on their file. We have a philosophy of total transparency. If they want the information, they can ask for it. We'll happily send it out, but they should receive that information when they receive a letter from us post-inspection, updating them on their claim status. Okay.
Why is it that a community for one of the worst affected areas, Mount Pleasant, took place just last week? Only 1 out of 100 people had been paid any money by the EQC. 70 people at the meeting have houses that are confirmed demo jobs.
Yeah. We've touched on this before in terms of the backlog we had with the multiple events and getting through that backlog of claims. Being through that by the end of the week, so there'll be a number of those people that start to see their payments very soon. I'm interested that they're saying that they're confirmed as being demolition. We would need that information from the insurance companies in a lot of respects, working really closely with them to get that information. But yeah, I hope that we will see an increase in the speed of those payments very shortly.
Okay. EQC, what is your complaints and disputes resolution process? They know of several people who have used the complaints button via your website and months later still have had no response.
Yeah, a little bit concerned by that because we take them seriously, obviously, and we want our people to be doing the right thing by our claimants. The best mechanism is at the website. If it's not working, look, obviously there's someone there that's got a problem. If you can get me their details, we'll follow up. But please, at the website, we've employed a full-time person to deal with these complaints about our attitude and behavioural issues of our people in the field. So if they can pass those details on, well, then we'll deal with it.
If someone does complain, is this you get back to them?
Absolutely.
You do?
Yeah.
And within what sort of time frame?
Well, depending on the nature of the complaint, but we are hoping for a turnaround of 14 to 21 days. Look, sometimes when the complaint's lodged, the person that it relates to is away on leave, so it depends on the availability of people to speak to and get both sides of the story and then come to a reasonable conclusion.
Okay. In a worst-case scenario, if Christchurch or another New Zealand city was hit by a large magnitude earthquake that produced similar destruction as September and February, is the Commission in a financially viable position to provide cover? And if so, how much does the Commission have?
Well, really outside of my field, that's a question for Wellington. I think the short answer is yes, but I can't touch on that. I think that's something that we'd need to ask our CEO or our CFO, really part of their job.
All right, a couple of more questions. Why is the EQC doing full assessments of houses with minor structural damage when there are still houses in Mount Pleasant with major structural damage over 100,000, which haven't yet been visited? Some have babies, preschoolers and elderly people still living in them, and the owners cannot get any answers from the EQC as to when they will be seen or why they have been missed.
Okay, I think really concerned by this because we knew when we did the rapid program that we might miss some people because they weren't home, and when you can't get inside the home, you can't really establish the exact extent of the damage. If they call our 0800 damage number, there is a series of questions that we'll ask them. If that proves that their damage is greater than what we anticipated, we'll happily push them up the assessment program and get them done as soon as possible.
Okay, there is one more question, but I'm just going to touch on something you just said, that you're concerned about some of these questions. This is just, I guess, a small group of the people in Christchurch. What should these people do? Should they just keep calling 0800 damage?
Absolutely, Kanita, because there's a facility there. They pass it through to our call centre, which is an EQC call centre in Wellington. We have a script there. We will contact those people, we'll talk to them about the nature of their damage, and we'll happily push it up for a quicker inspection.
Okay. Right, finally, when is the EQC going to implement the recommendations made in an audit report of EQC dated May 2009, which identified bottlenecks in their system in the event of a large natural disaster, and stated, amongst other things, that EQC needed to be able to put up a shop front quickly in the event of a large natural disaster? September was 9 months ago and still no shop front.
Firstly, I know that we've met most of those recommendations. In terms of the shop front, we had a plan to do that one straight away in September. It actually came down to a question of space. Where could we fit it in? We needed space for engineers. We then entered into our arrangement with Fletcher's, which meant we needed more space. The good news is we're onto it. We are going to be rolling out a mobile shop front and running clinics across Christchurch so that people can access us much more easily, and we're hopeful that that'll be up and running in 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
So we are dealing with that. Again, it is a priority, but it's been what's the greater need, the inspections or the shop front, and we've fronted public meetings and made ourselves available to community forums. So we've sort of tried to cover that off by doing that.
All right, and there is one more question, but you are going to come back with the answer next week, but I will just say it. How many over cap, that's over $100,000 claims, has EQC paid out on and passed over to insurers? But we'll come back to that.
Yeah, happily do that, but I'll
week.
need to get that information out of Wellington.
No problem. Now, how are the hubs going?
Yeah, good. Fletchers have done over 7,000 heat installations. Repairs are going really well. They're rolling out some more hubs. Again, roll out of the iPads, we're able to transfer the claims details to them much more quickly and accurately. So I think you're going to see the hubs really crank up in the next few weeks.
Okay, and the main focus this week for the EQC? Inspections. All right.
Yeah.
And people, of course, can contact the EQC.
0800 damage.
0800 326 243.
Absolutely.
Or eqc.govt.nz.
That's the one.
And facebook.com/earthquake commission. All right.
Excellent.
Reid, good to have you on the program.
Thanks,
of course,
Kanita.
if people have questions, they can email me, kanita@ctv.co.nz, or give us a call, 3777 033. Thanks for coming on the program.
Fantastic, thank you.
Yesterday on City Life, we spoke with Mike from Canterbury Youth Development Program, and now we're going to chat about a partner organisation, Blue Light Canterbury. Welcome, Sergeant Bevan Seal.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Now, tell me about Blue Light.
Well, Blue Light is an organisation. It's a nationwide non-profit group. We've got a head office in Auckland, and there's round about 70 branches throughout New Zealand. But each branch operates independently. So we've got a branch here in Christchurch, Blue Light Canterbury, and we've been in Christchurch for about 20 years. And you mentioned Blue Light, and people think Blue Light
the
discos.
Disco.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
remember them.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
And Blue Light discos, and we still do discos. 20 years on, and we still do discos. Blue Light is actually operated by police members above their normal core duties, and a group of civilian volunteers. And we operate as a committee, and we just do all sorts of different events for youth around Christchurch, really.
Okay.
So,
let's look at the things that, how you work together with the Canterbury Youth Development Corporation.
Okay. Canterbury Youth Development Program was established basically to combat youth offenders and try and give them an alternative rather than prison. And it just fits well underneath the Blue Light umbrella, because Blue Light's aims are to really close the gaps between the youth and the community, their families and the police. And just to build some respect, really, and to build those gaps between the groups. And it's to combat youth offending. So the Canterbury Youth Development Program fits really well within the Blue Light aims, but it operates fairly separately to Blue Light Canterbury as such, because it combats with those hardcore youth offenders, whereas Blue Light, the separate branch of Blue Light, operates for all sorts of kids, but just to close those gaps, really.
Okay, so does it work well to be the sort of the thing before youth become offenders, I suppose?
Yeah, it does actually. Yeah. It's really rewarding, working with a lot of young people around Christchurch, and just to help to keep them on the right track with lots of different programs that we operate. There's nationwide programs that operate throughout New Zealand, but then we have our own little programs in Christchurch as well. Such as the nationwide programs, they publish a book called Street Smart and a book called Kid Smart. And Kid Smart is aimed at 12 and 13-year-olds. Street Smart is aimed for school leavers, and it's just a book about information booklets about bullying, about legal issues, drugs and alcohol, for the school leavers, about how to get a driver's licence and those information packs. They also operate what's called a PCT challenge. PCT is the police physical test that we have to do every year.
Every year?
Every year.
Do you still have to do it?
Yeah, still have to do it. Yeah, I know.
Is it harder to do it now than it was last year?
Yeah, it was. Every
Really?
year it gets harder.
And it's the same distance as when you first began?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But now that I'm a bit older, I get a bit longer to do it. So
Oh, that's good.
I've got about 3 days to do mine now, actually. So,
You don't mean it, though, do you?
No, I don't. No, still limited to time. But
Okay, yeah.
Yes, but we operate a regional competition as well, so we give kids 11 to 13-year-olds a chance to do that, and that's called the PCT Challenge.
Wow.
So they do their police physical test in a group of 4, and they represent schools, and we get a great response. There's normally about 30 to 40 schools come along and do the PCT Challenge.
That's amazing.
And the regional competition, the winning team, we take them throughout New Zealand to wherever the national competition is. So they compete against kids from all around New Zealand.
Do you find that working with these young people is stopping them from getting into youth offending?
Well, it does, I think, and it cuts down that confrontation between the police and the young people. You know, a lot of people just see the police as there to lock up people and to stop fights and things like that. But once they actually get to know us as people, as humans, it just closes those gaps really altogether. And they get to sit in police cars and try on a police uniform, and quite a few of them say, "Oh, gee, I didn't know police were like that, and I want to be a police officer now,"
Wow.
which is great.
Yeah.
You know, we want to encourage that. We just want to close those gaps between the young people and the police.
Let's look at some of the programs that you hold for the young people.
Yep, in Christchurch here we do what's called a Well Done Kids Camp. This is again for 11 to 13-year-olds. For kids who try really hard at school but they're not really going to make the awards, they're not going to be the top students, but they're really good kids. So we take them away to different places to go camping. We might go to Orton Bradley Park over at Governor's Bay, where we do rock climbing and we go bushwalk, and we'll go and play in the sea and go and play in the mud when the tide's out. And we've got a walker, and we go walker out on the Littleton Harbour. We've got a group of kids this weekend going to Tekapo actually, and hopefully there's a bit of snow.
Fun. Where
they can play in the snow and go ice skating. They'll go up to Mount Cook and have a look, go up to Mount John Observatory and look at the stars.
Great.
And hopefully we can jack up a flight for them to fly around the top of Mount Cook, hopefully. But we take kids to Hamner as well. So just lots of different camps and show them there's something alternatives out there. We do a camp for a boys' camp and a girls' camp for boys and girls who have been through a bit of trauma. And we take counsellors on the camp, and it's just to break down those barriers and talk with them and say, look, it's not your fault, it's okay, we can get through this. And we help them through that. And they actually enjoy working with the police on that because it opens up the doors and get them communicating.
Wow.
We do the PCT challenge we talked about. We also do a life skills course out at Burnham Camp in association with the Army.
Okay.
We do a week-long course for teenagers aged between 15 and 17 who are a bit rebellious at home, a bit rebellious at school, and they're just heading down that wrong path. Rather than letting them get down that path too long, we take them out to Burnham Camp and we work them for a week with the Army staff. Bit of routines, bit of discipline, but it's all about teaching them how to make the right choices as well, and teach them there's consequences for the wrong choices. And they actually enjoy it. They start on a Monday and they hate it because it's the Army and it's they don't know what they're in for. But on the Friday when they march out, they do a marching out parade on the Friday in front of their parents, and they're so proud to be there. And most of them actually want to stay. You know, we always ask them at the end who wants to stay, and 90% of them want to stay longer because they just into that atmosphere and they love it.
That's amazing. Is this a voluntary thing, like children, the young people, they want to be involved with it, or are they recommended to be involved?
Most of them are just voluntary.
Okay.
Yeah. I get a few phone calls from parents and saying, what can you do about my boy? He's off the rails. But most of them volunteer to be there. You just talk to them about where they're heading in life and what they want to do in life, and you give them an option, and most of them want to be there.
How can people get involved with this?
They can get hold of us on the website, just Blue Light Canterbury in lowercase, bluelightcanterbury.co.nz, or give us a ring on our cell phone, 027 6767 307.
That's quite easy.
Yeah, it's got to be easy for me to remember.
We'll go to the website.
Yeah, go to the website. Blue Light Canterbury, go to the website.
It's great. Bevan, really good to have you on City Life today.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back after this break. You're back with City Life, and I'd like to welcome back to the program Tim Hunter. Good to have you here.
Good morning.
So how are things going in the tourism market here in Canterbury at the moment?
Well, it's a bit of a tough ask at the moment. I think the aftershocks of last week have been quite a setback for us, particularly in terms of perceptions of the city and is it a safe place to go to? Because we have made a lot of progress since February, and we were really getting some things done. I was very concerned after the February shake that we would lose a lot of our group tours into Christchurch. And although a lot of them are not staying in the city because of the lack of hotel accommodation, we have kept them in Canterbury, which has been fantastic. So, we have a lot of those series group tours that come through regularly, staying in Ashburton or Methven or Kaikoura, or even down in Tekapo. And we've practically kept all that business, which has been really good news. The other thing we saw was a really, big reaction from the Australian market post the earthquake in February, where arrivals were down about 40% in March, and that has gradually improved. So, we've come back to about -15.
Okay.
And what worries me now is that not just the aftershocks, but the fact that GNS is talking about the higher probability of, another substantial shake is really not going down well in the Australian market, nor, the two other markets that haven't coped well are Japan and Korea. And so we've just got to deal with that. And I think the most important thing is that we keep tourism strong to the Canterbury region and the South Island, because it's just so important for the economy, here in this part of the world.
So how are you going to do that? How are you going to keep people coming to the South Island?
Well, I think it's the same messaging that this phenomena is very localised to Christchurch, and there's been no damage outside of Christchurch, and we've got a lot of tourism infrastructure right throughout Canterbury, and it's about really talking to travel sellers about, if they are going to stay out of Christchurch and not accommodate people here, at least get them into Canterbury and keep their tourism going for the South Island. So one of the big projects we're working on for the summer, and it's really post the Rugby World Cup period, is the concept of the Great South Island Self-Drive, where people come to the South Island, get in a car and have perhaps one of the best holidays of their life, because we've got fantastic driving routes right throughout the South Island. So we've teamed up with the other regional tourism organisations in the South Island to put that together as a substantial campaign, and that'll be quite strongly supported by Tourism New Zealand.
Okay.
So we'll be really working hard in end of October, November to promote that self-drive concept in Australia, just to keep that visitor flow coming through.
The reopening of the new terminal at the Christchurch International Airport, has that helped in any way for tourism?
I think it has. I mean, we've brought through some quite senior travel people for Trends, which is New Zealand's major tourism travel show last month, and they were really impressed. And they were also impressed that we built that amidst all this mayhem in the city and finished it. And it is a fantastic facility. It's getting really good ratings, so I think it's really helpful in terms of making us look like a progressive tourism destination.
That's right, even if there isn't that much going on at the moment. How are the tourism operators going?
I think out of Christchurch, within Canterbury, they're down, but they're not out. I think if they're based in Christchurch, they've got really severe issues. And although this is winter and it's not a high traffic period, if they don't have a return of demand by October, November, it's going to be very difficult for many of them to continue operating. And I think what's really important for Christchurch is we get the central city experience a bit better than it is. And I think with the hub that's being built for Rugby World Cup in Hagley Park, that's going to be helpful. We really need to get the museum and the art gallery open. And I know the art gallery is a very convenient office for Sarah and the council, but it is an art gallery and it's a real important feature for visitors. We'd like it back, as an art gallery for the summer, because it's been highly successful. We've had some hugely successful exhibitions through there, in the last 12 months. We want to get more happening in the central city.
How much money have we lost by having the major quakes here in Christchurch? Not only that, but also losing the Rugby World Cup to Christchurch as well. How much money have we lost?
Well, what I'm hearing with Rugby World Cup is we are going to be quite busy as a province. A lot of people are touring through New Zealand, and when you've got games in Dunedin and games in Dunedin and Invercargill games in Nelson, people are travelling through Canterbury. So accommodation bookings are quite high right throughout that September-October booking. In fact, there are some dates in October that we're maxed out and we simply don't have any more beds left. and also ground transport's pretty heavily utilised. So we will see a benefit over that period. It won't be as great as what it would have been without the event, but it is something to look forward to that might lift tourism numbers at that time.
Okay.
In terms of the overall economic effect, we haven't really sat down to calculate that just yet, because we've got much lower numbers in Christchurch City and much better numbers in, broadly in the province. In fact, places like Ashburton, their commercial accommodation performance is up 100% since the earthquake. Henma, huge influx of domestic tourism, and their Australian business up 20 to 30%. So we've got a number of different economic impacts going on here, but Christchurch is the worst hit.
Okay, now finally, what is your biggest focus at the moment, and how can we help people come back to Christchurch?
Biggest focus at the moment is make sure that for the summer we get resurgence in Australian business, and we'll do that with the work we're doing on the self-drive concept. Southeast Asia is going very well. Rivals from Malaysia have increased 100% since we've had AirAsia coming in here.
Wow.
And so we've seen some big numbers come through Christchurch Airport. We want to do more work in Southeast Asia to keep stimulating that, because without certain other markets, just trying to get, visitor volume is particularly important. And I think we've really got to work hard as a community to get more interesting things happening in the central city for visitors. Because if we can't create that hub, then it's going to compromise the visitor experience. So working on that's very important.
Okay. Great to have you on the program.
Okay.
Good luck with the big task ahead.
Okay.
We'll be back after this break. You're back with City Life, and last week we caught up with Ben Winters with a product that might just help arthritis. Welcome back to City Life, and welcome to the program, Ben from Aroma New Zealand. Now tell me about your company.
Yep, Aroma New Zealand. We're actually celebrating 50 years in business this year, 2011. Aroma, we're a family-owned business. There's my father and myself, along with 20 other staff. And the name Aroma goes back, obviously back to 1961, when my grandfather first started the business. And way back then, it was actually flavourings and essences. So the health food side just wasn't a part of it just then. So 25 years ago, we basically got into the health food business. Health foods for both humans and also pets. And the main focus was focusing on bone and health issues, because so many people and pets suffer from arthritic conditions, and hence this is where the green shell mussel popped up.
Now you've brought some into the studio today. Now tell me about the importance of the green shelled mussel.
Well, the green shell mussel powder it's really full of omega-3 fatty acids. It's got natural glucosamine sulfate in there, chondroitin, full of protein. So just looking at the green shell, we don't actually use the shell as such. We actually bring the mussels in live to our factory. We've got a special machine which actually extracts the shell from the mussel meat. And it's only the mussel meat we're actually using. And that's the green shell mussel. Obviously, it's a shellfish. It's a filter feeder, and it filters like several hundred litres of salt water every day. So it's full of vitamins, minerals.
So you take that extract out and you produce a pill for people who have arthritis?
Well, we Aroma, we really specialise in producing a bulk powder, so we don't have our own retail on the market as such. 98% of our products actually export in bulk powder. So we'll sell directly to a health food company or a pet food company who will then do the encapsulation and the further marketing, putting the actual label on the bottle and exporting it.
So tell me about the powder, like what does it do for the person who takes it? Yep,
the powder, it's got a lot of natural anti-inflammatory properties, the green shell mussel, and it's really been researched for about 30 years. We've been selling green shell mussel powder now for at least 25, 30 years, and we decided, like a lot of people will come to us at trade shows around the world and they say, look, what does this mussel powder do? And we say, look, it's great for your joints, it's great for an arthritic condition, it's great for your pets. But we needed something a bit more concrete than that instead of just saying that. So we decided to push on and do a clinical study over at the University of Queensland.
Tell me about the study.
Yeah, basically it was an 8-week study we did. We specifically targeted people, 50% female and male over the age of 40. And we targeted people with osteoarthritis of the knee, mild osteoarthritis. So the study was completed 8 weeks later, and we had very, very good results from that clinical study. and the main signs really reduced pain of the knees. There was significant, 60% of the patients had a very drastic improvement of the, obviously, pain reduction, and joint mobility was increased. So there were significant results from that study.
Amazing. And with you can give this to animals as well. Maybe not those tablets,
No,
but
that's right. 50% of our business is actually focused on like dogs, cats, horses. I mean, like humans, they also suffer from pain and arthritis.
Wow.
So the muscle, yeah, fantastic product for the dogs. We find within 2 weeks, dogs that have got arthritis can start jumping onto the couch again, or cats, even horses, for example. But
wow, that's amazing. So is it something that you've got to take long term to get the benefits from, or can you feel the benefits right away?
I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously being a natural product, it's obviously not like a drug. It's a natural anti-inflammatory, so you do need to take the product every day, and it doesn't kick in. It doesn't start working in 1 or 2 days like a drug would. Okay. So you basically, it takes about during the study, 2 to 3 weeks, people start to get the benefits of reduced pain levels.
Okay. Now your factory's based out at Bromley.
Yeah.
How was it after the earthquake?
Obviously, it was pretty rattled. We've got 2 factories over in Bromley. We were out of production for about 6 weeks. Obviously, the floors, the processing floors, there's a lot of damage in there, liquefaction. And obviously with contaminated water, I mean, we're a processing business. Health and hygiene is obviously very important.
Yeah.
We couldn't do any production. But no, we're back in full production now.
Great.
So.
Now you had some product to give away.
Yeah, I thought, look, the result was very good. The clinical study was very good. So what we're going to do, we're going to give away 50 bottles of the green lip muscle powder to anyone who might be suffering from osteoarthritis or any type of knee pain or any pain, hip pain, elbow pain.
That's so
And
generous.
we'll also give away 50 pouches of the powder for pet owners who might have,
Great.
dogs or any pet
Thanks,
with
Ben.
sore
Okay,
joints. Yeah.
so we can email.
Yeah,
we can
if
email
we
you.
can just use our email address.
Aroma
yeah.
at aromanz.com.
That's the one, yeah.
Aroma at aromanz.com, and they can just put something in the subject line like
They can.
maybe CTV, City Life.
CTV, City Life,
Yeah,
something
great.
like that, and we'll get some product out to them, and hopefully they can get the benefits like the rest of the world is getting out.
And how can we find you on the website? Can we find you at Aroma?
Yeah, aromanz.com if people want to look up and just have a look at our products. Yeah.
Excellent. Ben, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thanks very much for your time.
You're back with City Life, and I'd like to welcome Ali from NLP. Now tell me, what's NLP?
NLP is a solution-focused talking therapy.
Okay, and how's that working in Christchurch at the moment?
Oh, it's working really well. We've got an 0800 service, and people can ring up. People who feel like they're not coping with the quakes and their aftermath, and people can ring up and they'll be put in touch with an NLP professional who will arrange a free session for them.
So what kind of things do you talk about in these sessions?
So people who are coming are people who are having trouble sleeping. It's a really common one. Anxiety, disturbing memories, and anxious, self-medicating. So what we talk about is the solution. The thing about NLP is it focuses on the solution, and so sessions are quite comfortable. So we don't actually need to spend a lot of time talking about the problem. We spend a lot of time talking about the solution.
Okay. So what is the solution? How do we get ourselves better?
Well, it's different for different people. NLP pays a lot of attention to the purpose of the behaviour. So, you know, and sometimes we do things and we have the very best reason for doing it. You know, whether it's being afraid or being really anxious, it's just that it sometimes doesn't work.
Okay. So did NLP just come about because of the earthquake, or have you been around for a while?
NLP started in the States in the 70s, and it started by studying 3 highly effective psychotherapists and studying their techniques and methods. And so what we do, the work that we do is from these methods.
Okay.
And this work's also been done in Sarajevo. So there was Richard Bolstead, a New Zealand NLP trainer, did a lot of work in Sarajevo. It's also been used in 9/11. And there's also another group of NLP practitioners who went and worked in Samoa after the tsunami.
So this is specifically for the Christchurch earthquake?
The 0800, so the number is 0800 NLP recovery, yeah. And do you have the number, or can you?
We'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, how many people have been contacting you because of this?
Oh, we've seen hundreds of people. So Patricia Greenhoff, who's a Christchurch local NLP trainer, she set the number up after the September quake, and she worked out of a portacom. Her house was half munted, and there were another couple from our team, and they worked out at Kaiapoi for a long time. So yeah, we've seen over hundreds.
Okay, so it's 0800 NLP recovery.
Yeah, it's a wee poem. NLP recovery.
Oh yeah, that's true. And anybody can give you a call. Is it just the first session is free, or all sessions free?
They can ring us and talk to us about that. We can work it out on the
okay.
Session.
Is there funding for this?
There is funding. Yeah,
okay, tell us about that.
So the 0800 number is a voluntary service. It's run by the national body, a national professional body, and there may be funding for some of the work that we're doing, the sessions.
Okay, and are you online as well?
Yes, there's a website, nlprecovery.co.nz.
Excellent. So nlprecovery.co.nz, 0800 NLP recovery. Ali, thanks for coming on City Life.
Thanks for inviting me.
And now I'd like to welcome Stephanie from Flair Image. So good to have you here. Missed you last week.
I know. I was a bit shaken in my shoes last week.
I know, there's been aftershocks. Now, what are we talking about this week?
We're going to talk about how to dress yourself if you're a male.
Okay.
Because lots of the time, men get stuck in a little bit of a style rut, or they just get stuck in a rut of not buying any clothes at all and just wear them until they fall apart.
Yeah,
literally.
Right. So what should we be looking at? I mean, for a guy, what should he be doing?
Okay, so he needs to look at, first of all, what his needs are for his wardrobe. Okay, so whether he has a corporate wardrobe or whether he has a job that's a little bit more casual. So working out where his needs are too. Have clothes that are for painting the house, mowing the lawns, and clothes that you wear out. Try not to wear the same clothes in both cases.
Okay.
Yes?
And do men really like shopping and looking good?
Some do. Some do. But I say that men are like a parking meter. You know, you can only feed them a couple of coins and they're only going to last about 2 hours. Oh, okay. So when I take men shopping, we have a 2-hour time limit generally because they get a bit over it after 2 hours. Some only last 1.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, you're doing well to keep them up for 2.
Well, I can get a wardrobe together for a guy in probably an hour to 1 to 2 hours.
You're actually amazing at getting anybody a wardrobe together in that short amount of time, including myself. So where do you suggest people, men in Christchurch, should go and buy their clothes?
Okay, well, it depends, of course, on your budget. So there's a number of good menswear shops at Westfield Mall that are open for business and operating. Meccano Men, Hallenstein's at the sort of lower end. You've also got Barker's in there, Rod and Gun. And we do, of course, have Columbus and Wear, who have opened up at Merivale, and Working Style are providing a mobile service as well. Fraser Brentford is going into businesses and fitting men if they need it, corporate wear.
Yeah, cool. That is a really good service, actually. We had him on the program a few weeks ago. It's good to have him here. Now, what are some of the basics, the good basics of grooming, really?
Okay, so for men, you need to make sure that, first of all, your personal hygiene's taken care of. So, you know, bad breath, lots of, body odour, any of those things with anybody, they need to be taken care of. Also, facial hair can be really distracting in a corporate setting. You know, if you look at 2 pictures of men and one has facial hair and one doesn't, generally the one with no facial hair will be deemed to be more credible in a corporate setting. But
sometimes facial hair suits the man.
I know, exactly. It depends how it's worn too. You know, we're talking like a long bushy beard. It's probably not going to be a good look in business. But
a nice bit of a designer stubble.
Well, it depends. It again depends on your business or your industry.
Okay.
Totally.
Moustache?
Depends if it's Movember or not.
That's the point. Okay. What do you? Your 5 top points for men. I might be able to help you out here.
Okay, so if your clothes are shiny in the knees or the butt or the elbows, they need to go.
Right.
Okay. Replace your shoes every couple of years. Okay. Or have 2 pairs that you're rotating around as well.
Okay.
Okay. Also, make sure that your clothes are well laundered and well looked after and pressed so that they don't look like you've slept in them. Don't pick them up off the floor and put them on and go to work in them. Hang them over the chair.
Yeah.
And probably wash them each day as well.
And clothes being a good fit, that's very
Absolutely. Look, I find that men tend not to buy new clothes if they lose or gain weight. More so if they lose weight. They tend to just wear their saggy baggies. So if you've lost weight, guys, celebrate it and go out and buy yourself some new gear.
Yeah, and take a risk.
Absolutely. Men are very hooked on blue. Do you notice that? They like their blue shirts and their blue ties. Or black and white. So it's black, white or blue for men, but there's so many other colours. You don't have to look like a Christmas tree, but just a few other colours can make all the difference too.
We're not being mean, we're just helping out. Well, you're just helping out, right?
Absolutely.
With these pointers. Yeah.
Absolutely helping out. Absolutely helping out. And men tend to like it straight. That's why I'm being so straight about it. You know, they like me to tell them exactly what to do. And, you know, most of the time in business, men want to stand out, make an impression, and be remembered. It's like the weather. If the weather's really bad, you remember it. And if it's really good, you remember it. If it's very mediocre, you don't think a thing about it. You want to be really good.
Okay, I've got a question. Stripy shirt.
Okay.
And what sort of tie?
Okay, so it depends on the size of you, right? So if you're a little guy, don't wear big, thick, wide stripes, or it makes you look shorter and wider. Yes, if you're a bigger guy, go for wider or bigger stripes. Okay, that's the first stripe rule. And if you're going to wear a tie with a stripe, if you're a bit unsure, keep it plain and the same colour as the stripe. The tie always needs to be stronger or darker than the shirt. Otherwise, it looks like it's lost in the shirt.
Good point. What about a nice cut for pants?
Well, again, it depends on your figure type. So if you're heavy in the thighs, and some guys are, make sure your pants aren't gripping across the thighs when you sit down. At the moment, flat front pants are generally the trend. So going for a nice flat front pair. If you're not in a corporate industry, a jeans style can also be a really good option to jeans. So jeans style pant in a different fabric. Like a drill can be good.
Now you've got an event coming up that could help both the male and the female in a sort of a corporate environment. Tell us about that.
Okay, so on Friday we have the launch of the Corporate Style Club. We've got a lovely sponsor, Lyndon Leaves just came on board yesterday to help sponsor us as well. So they're going to be helping with the event. There's a whole lot of other retail and sponsors involved too. So what we're doing is we're showing 3 males and 3 females in a whole lot of different corporate looks from a variety of retailers. Fun, interesting corporate clothing, not just boring and staid. So if you want to learn a little bit about how to look, perform, dress, and make an impression in your job, then come along and join us. 5:30, Elevate Bar on Friday night. We have drinks, we have lucky door prizes, we have nibbles.
Great.
And you might even see the lovely Kanita there.
I might be there. Actually, I think I'm going to go.
Great.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Now, this is in Kashmir?
This is in Kashmir, yes.
Okay,
yes.
great.
So look, we're hoping to run this every quarter at the turn of the season. So this is the first one, so it's very exciting, a lot going on. Lots of interesting people coming on board as well.
And we can get our tickets from your website?
Yes, go to my website. You'll see it's right up there on the front page and have a look there. And I did blog last week.
Oh, good. Tell us about that.
I blogged about men's clothing, so I've got some good tips in there. So if you can't remember the tips, go online, check out What's She Wearing Style blog or flairimage.co.nz and click on the blog.
Excellent, Stephanie. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
We'll be back after this break with some furious filmmaking. V48-hour film festival. That looks good.
It was good.
So was that Christchurch, or is that for the finals?
That was for the Christchurch finals.
How did they go?
Really well. We had them last week, and we had a completely packed house in the biggest cinema at Hoyts Riccarton, and I think the audience really liked the films. I know I did, because I was one of the judges.
You had to see them all.
So,
how many? There was over 100.
There were 120 teams that actually managed to finish their films.
Wow.
So it was quite a task paring it down to just 12.
Gosh. So tell me, who took the top prize?
The top prize went to a team called Suspect TV. They've entered pretty much every year under various names, and they've made the finals sometime, but they've never really gotten to that top sort of echelon. And this year they really pulled it out with a really suspenseful, tight little horror film called Naughty Man, featuring a stunning lead performance from the director's 4-year-old son.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fun. Now tell me about the other prizes that there were.
Well, there are heaps. We give out around like 20 different category prizes, but
Let's look at the top ones.
The top ones.
Yeah.
The one that people tend to lust after is the Cinematography Award, which also went to Suspect TV, because the national prize for that is a $10,000 plus camera and lens kit. So yeah, that's the one that everybody sort of really wants.
Yeah.
But I mean, we give awards for everything from acting to art direction to editing to best teen team. Yeah, everything you could possibly think of, I guess.
Now you've brought some other trailers with you. What are they?
I've just brought a couple of clips. One from the winning film from Naughty Man, and one from our runner-up, which was by a team called the A Team, spelled EH.
Oh.
And they got the genre of body switch, which was one of the new genres this year and one of the toughest genres. And they managed to actually make a film that wasn't confusing, which didn't happen much with that genre this year. So they made this film called Infinite Body Confidence, which is basically starts from the timeless story of boy likes girl. So in this case, he switches his body out to try and woo her. And,
I really want to see it now. Should we take a look at that clip?
I guess we could.
Yeah.
You're fishing for the right one? Yeah. She's not taking the bait? I think I have just the right thing for you.
Cool.
Infinite body possibility. It's very exciting and really going to help you out, I think. Which is great, because in the past, I'd have beaten someone like you into a pulp. But the thing is I've changed. Just like you're going to change. Okay.
So what team's that one?
That was the A Team with Infinite Body Confidence, the body switch genre.
So that when you watch things like that, you always see people you recognise when you go to, especially like the regionals. You go, wow, that person's really talented, or wow, you know.
Yeah. And I mean it's particularly in Christchurch because everybody knows everybody else.
Yeah.
The finals can appear kind of incestuous in a way.
True.
But yeah.
Now, were there any big surprises, before we go and look at the one who won this year, were there any big surprises? Was there any, like, for example, last year's winner, I didn't think I saw him up there.
How do you mean?
Team Gorilla, was it?
Yeah.
How did they go?
They, yes, they kind of just goofed off this year. They entered 2 teams. Which is kind of unorthodox, but registration was free, so I guess they had nothing stopping them. And they submitted 2 films, one of which was a really clever little superhero film that they intentionally disqualified, which was a bit of a mystery to me.
How'd they disqualify it?
By uploading it, because you're not allowed to upload films online, because we've got like exclusivity and stuff like that. but they intentionally did that, which kind of bummed me out a little because it was a really good film.
Oh, really? Do you think it would have got further? Tell me more.
It might have. I don't know. It was a really interesting take on the superhero genre. But, you know, they made that decision. Their other... They allegedly wanted the intention to be paid to their other film, which was entered under their other team name, Happy Gays Are Gay, which was a film called Death of Brian, which featured a grown man in ridiculous costumes kind of wailing for 4 minutes. And culminating with the director dancing naked on screen.
Logan?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow.
So I think they just... I think probably the attitude was, well, we won last year, so we may as well just goof off this year and have some fun.
All right.
And that's completely fine.
Yeah, right. You know, okay. And how did they go, that one?
That film
The Naked Dancing director?
It was nominated for Best Freeze Frame Ending and for Best Bad Film.
Okay.
And it won the audience favourite award for the heat that it played in as well. Because it's just ridiculously funny.
All right, now we need to have a look at the one who won the Christchurch final. We don't actually have that much time, so let's take a look at that one.
Yep.
He's in there.
Who?
The naughty man, Uncle Bobby.
Uncle Bobby?
Honey, Uncle Bobby is not in the bathroom. I promise. He's inside the party.
So that one's going to the national finals?
Not necessarily.
Oh, really?
The rules have changed slightly this year. The nationals are picked completely independently to the city finalists and city winners. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So they announced the national finalists tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And there could well be films from Christchurch. It may not even be the city winner, but let's hope.
Oh my goodness. So when are the finals?
July 2nd. It's a live event at the Civic in Auckland. It'll be webcast on the 48 Hours website.
Okay, so what's the website?
v48hours.co.nz.
Excellent. Andrew, thank you so much for coming on the program today and filling
pleasure.
us in. We look forward to catching up with you to see how the Christchurch teams went in early July. Now that is City Life for today. You might remember Bruce Rains. We had an interview with him a couple of weeks ago with the book, You Know You're From Christchurch When. Now this has been #1 on the New Zealand Best Book list, if that makes any sense. We have 4 of them to give away, so you can either give us a call, 3777 033, 3777 033, or email me, kaneta@ctv.co.nz, and we'll pop you in the draw to win a copy of that. We also have a double pass still to give away to the NZSO's performance of Romeo and Juliet. It's on Thursday night, so you can again give us a call, 3777 033, or email me, kaneta@ctv.co.nz. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.